Hello and welcome to Top Story. Silvio Berlusconi, the great showman of Italian politics, has won a third term in office. His People of Liberty alliance plus the Northern League have won comfortably in both the lower house and the Senate. Berlusconi, who's 71 and reputed to be the richest man in Italy, had called for a 20-seat majority in the Senate so he could pass the unpopular measures needed to put Italy back on its feet and reverse its steady slide into decline. He may have exceeded his own expectations. The centre-left coalition, led by Walter Veltroni, has failed to seriously challenge Berlusconi. Veltroni has been handicapped by his former membership of the Communist Party, something Berlusconi has not let Italians forget. But Italy's latest Prime Minister faces tricky negotiations on the composition of the next government, the country's 62nd since the end of the Second World War. His bloc partners from the separatist and anti-immigrant Northern League performed unexpectedly well, winning 6 to 8% of the vote. Well, joining me now to discuss Berlusconi's victory and its implications for Italy is Gianpaolo Accardo, a specialist on Italy at Courier International here in Paris. Thanks very much for being on Top Story. So here we go again, Italy's 62nd government since the Second World War. Is there any reason to believe that this one's going to be any more stable than its predecessors?
Well, looking at the figures, it should be stable because Mr. Berlusconi has a vast majority in both the houses, especially in the Senate, where he has more than 40 seats, a majority of more than 40 seats, which is a huge majority.
Quite unexpected as well.
Yes. We were expecting more or less a kind of fair score in both the houses. I mean, it means Berlusconi winning the lower house and the left winning the Senate, or being very close to winning the Senate and making thus Italy unrulable, ungovernable. And now with this kind of majority, Berlusconi has the figures to rule Italy, and he should now.
Yeah, he was talking about getting a 20-seat majority in the Senate. It looks quite likely that he may have done even better than that.
Yeah, we are talking about 40 seats.
That's really significant. In other words, he will not have any excuses for not getting down to the business of government.
Yes, now he has to deliver. He made a few promises. Among these, there was the promise of putting up the economy and solving the huge debt issue of Italy, and now he has to do it.
Why do you think he did so well?
Because I think Italians wanted stability. This is everyone in Italy was saying that we want more stability, we want a stable government, and they were not convinced by Mr. Veltroni's Democratic Party, because there was the huge burden of Mr. Prodi, the former Prime Minister's legacy. It means Mr. Prodi was ruling a huge coalition. There were 12, 13 parties, and it was highly unstable. This is why Mr. Prodi eventually fall. And so Italians needed stability, and they believed that Mr. Berlusconi was providing this kind of stability.
And yet Mr. Berlusconi's critics, both at home and abroad, describing him as not being fit to govern. Clearly most Italians don't share that point of view, though.
But Mr. Berlusconi already ruled Italy, governed in Italy for he made a 5 years term.
Controversially, it has to be said.
Yes. But he made it. I mean, it was one of his most important campaign arguments. He was the only Italian prime minister who ruled for a 5-year term, which is a record in Italy. So he used it as an argument during his campaign. He said, "I'm the only one who made it, so I could be able to do it again."
What is the Berlusconi factor? How does he manage to bewitch the Italian electorate in this way? You know, all this criticism from abroad about his style of government, about the corruption allegations and so on and so forth, but the Italians seem completely bewitched.
They don't care about that. I mean, they don't consider it as a major issue or as an obstacle for ruling. What they were needing now was stability, reassurance, maybe. Berlusconi presented himself as the wise man. He's 71 years old. He never pretended to be younger. And he said, "I'm the experienced one. I can reassure you. I will not. There will be no revolution with me. You can be safe. I will protect you." And this is what Italians were looking for.
What can we expect from him this time round? Because there are really big problems he has has to deal with, particularly on the economy.
Yeah, there's the economy, and then there is the garbage problem in Naples and around it. He promised to solve it, not saying how. And there is the Alitalia privatization. Berlusconi said that he wants to keep Alitalia within Italian property. Now there's Air France was looking for, Air France KLM was looking for buying Alitalia, and there was the negotiation was quite ahead until a few days ago, and Berlusconi said stop. I want Alitalia to stay in Italian hands, and he now has to deliver on that as well. And he said these are his top priorities: garbage in Naples, Alitalia, and the economy.
But is he the man to deliver? Because despite the victory of Berlusconi, recent opinion polls have been showing that Italians remain quite pessimistic about their future. Do you think Berlusconi is the man who can turn that round?
Well, during his last term, 2001-2006, he didn't do much for Italy. He did a lot of things to protect his own business, and then when it was the time to do something for Italy, he did very little, except maybe starting big public contracts on big expenditures on building roads and railways. But it's the only thing he made, really.
What about the man he beat here, Walter Veltroni? He seems to have done disappointingly badly. At one point it looked like he might do quite well. Why do you think he failed?
Maybe because he had a very short time to prepare himself. He had only 2 months electoral campaign, which is very short. But I don't think that he lost it, because his betting was to build a big party for the left in Italy, center left, and he made it. I mean, now there is only one party in the left, like in Italy, like in other countries, like Britain or the United States, for example. And on that point, he quite succeeded. Maybe he was expecting to be the first party in Italy in terms of seats and in terms of percentage, and well, he did not succeed on this point, but the Democratic Party is now a major figure.
And I'm going to have to interrupt you there, I'm afraid. That's all we have time for today. Thanks to our guest, Gianpaolo Accardo. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Top Story. Goodbye.